Good Monday morning, Market Chameleons, and everyone joining us for the first time. Thanks for coming by. Check it out, the Market Chameleon pre-market short. Before we get started, please take a look at the share disclaimer. Be aware that neither Market Chameleon, Dmitry, or myself are registered investment advisors or a broker dealer. If you're searching for investment advice, please reach out to a licensed professional. This webinar, as all our webinar and shows, is for informational purposes only concerning Market Chameleon tools and products. With that, D, good Monday morning.
Good morning, Will. How are you?
Good.
Good morning, everyone. Let me share my screen here. And today, I think what we'll do is cover the uh, implied volatility skew. We're going to use SPY in our example, and we'll take a look at implied volatility skew chart, see what type of insights we could get, and just discuss what that implied volatility skew means. So to get to this page, type the symbol into the search up top. I typed in SPY. Once you get to the SPY page, you'll come to the summary page, and on the left-hand side, you have this menu bar. Click on volatility skew, and then we'll get to this implied volatility skew page. I'm going to close this menu to expand our screen, and you'll notice that you do have different tabs up top to analyze the implied volatility skew from different angles and perspectives. Let's stay on this first tab, which is the 25 delta put call implied volatility skew. And when we look at the implied volatility skew, what it does is it measures the relative difference in the implied volatilities of options, and you could measure it based on vertical skew, which is the implied volatility skew of strikes within the same expiration. There's also horizontal skew, which is the implied volatility difference as you move from one expiration to the other. It's a time skew. So in this situation, we're looking at a vertical skew where there's a difference between implied volatilities based on how the structure of the, let's say, implied volatility smile looks like. Okay. So however, when we look at implied volatility skew, let's say within the same expiration, the challenge becomes, well, when we look at an options expiration every day, that it passes, that days to expiration decreases. Right? So even if you have options listed today, let's say for 30 days to expiration, well, tomorrow will be 29 days, the next day 28 days, 27 days. So that really impacts also the how those options line up, because as you go out further in time, there's more uncertainty, and just the skew could tend to be different based on just the days to expiration. And in order to standardize it so we could measure how that skew is changing over time, we'd have to create a synthetic 30-day constant maturity option. And to do that, we come up with this weighted balance formula of using the options expirations that straddle 30 days, similar to the VIX. And once we do that, we could also create a implied volatility smile for that 30 days. Okay, so we're looking at the options that's around 30 days, and we're creating a 30-day constant maturity smile. So how do we then measure the vertical skew? You do have different strikes usually available, and those strikes and the distance of those strikes from the at the money differ, right? So really, if we're looking at a 5 delta option, what do we compare it to? Like 5 delta call option, what do we compare that to? 5 delta put option, 10 delta put option, 25 delta put option. So we have to kind of also just standardize that. So in this particular chart over here, what this is doing is looking at a implied volatility for 25 delta call option and the implied volatility of a 25 delta put option, both 30-day constant maturity. Okay, that's what it's comparing. How does the implied volatility of this bullish call compare to this bullish put? If they're always the same, then there will be no skew. Let's say if the implied volatility of a 25 delta call option is 10, and then the implied volatility of the 25 delta put is 10, well, there's no skew, they're the same. But what if they do have a difference? If one is 8 and one is 10, well, then the one that's 10 implied volatility, let's say the put, is skewed higher than the 25 delta call that's an 8 implied volatility, right? So that's what we're doing. And the skew is letting us know the demand for options, the demand for implied volatility or options, relative to their to each other and how far apart they are from that, the money. Keep in mind, 25 delta is looking at, an option that's already out of the money, right? And same thing in a call. So these are wings. How are the wings getting priced relative to each other? So in this chart here, this goes back 1 year, and it's shown us the difference. Okay, the difference between the 25 delta put IV minus the 25 delta call IV. So if the difference was 0, it would be 0, right? Then this would be on the 0 line. If the difference is positive, that means the 25 delta put implied volatility is greater than the 25 delta call vol, right? Because that's how, if you're taking one, subtracting the other, if it's a positive number, that means the put in this situation, implied volatility is higher than the call. And if it's negative, it would be vice versa. So here we see that in the last year, they were always positive, meaning the put IV tends to be higher than the call IV. Never hit, it doesn't look like it ever hit 0 or negative here. We did have some spike up here. So here we see the change in the implied volatility, right? The skew. This is looking, because we're charting day to day, just like a stock price. We're seeing the how that skew is changing from day to day, going back a year. It's not always the same. The difference between those implied volatilities looks like, it fluctuates. Sometimes it pops up, it comes back down. And here we have 2 reference dotted lines here, okay? Just to see how the current skew, which is over here, compares to an average over a longer period of time, right? Because the skew, it's not like doesn't appreciate like a stock price, right? It tends to kind of fluctuate around some kind of, mean or average. So here we have 2 dotted lines. One is the 20-day moving at 20-day average. Okay, so this is the last 20 days. That's the red line. Okay, so it just takes the last 20 days and just goes all the way across. And then you have the average of the last 250 days. So it takes last 250 days, takes the average skew, and that's the yellow line. So we could see here that the skew is close to the average, right? So right now it's close, but it ticked up a little bit and slightly above, right? So we're looking like we're slightly above, meaning that the puts are getting more expensive relative to the calls, right? When the skews in the situation's going higher, we're seeing that the puts here, get a little reference price reference, more bearish puts are getting more expensive relative to the calls. And this gives us an indication how the options traders and options prices are starting, are pricing that skew, reading the signals and pricing that skew. So nothing crazy, but it ticked up a little bit over here. And we could draw a different line. We could do a 20-day moving average or 250-day moving average. So let's look at a 20-day moving average. What this will do, the 20-day moving average, is instead of just drawing one line, what we'll see is the moving average ticking up? We're down, right? Is it getting pulled up? We're down, just like a 20-day moving average of a stock, right? That's how kind of you could visualize a trend potentially. And then we could compare the 20-day moving average versus the daily observations. So let's click on that. 20-day moving average. So here we go. We could see that the red line, that's the 20-day moving average skew. And this green line is the daily observations. And it looks like right now we were, if we're looking at over here at the end here, we're sitting below the 20-day moving average. And now we're kind of like right at it. And here, from here to here, the 20-day moving average has been getting pulled up, kind of stabilized, moved down a little bit. So it's kind of, we're right now at, sitting like right close to it, just a little bit above that 20-day moving average. All right. That's giving us kind of a visual look at the, the kind of like the trend move. We could also do a longer historical moving average, where this will smooth out the data more, and look at the last 250-day moving average. Okay, so let's click on that, and I'm going to take off the 20-day moving average just to look at two lines. So you can see here that the yellow line, it's a little bit more smoother because we're using more data points. Right? We're moving more data points, and this kind of lets us see how far away we are now from the 250-day moving average. And we could also just see from historical perspectives how far, right? Are we, even if we got far away, how far are we? Because like here you could see, okay, it's above the 250-day moving average, but it's not that, we've had much higher ones in the past, right? Here's like 1, 2, 3, 4. There was a fifth one here. So here we are slightly above that 250-day moving average skew. But there's a lot more room that it could go, right? Like you could see here, that, these peaks, 1, 2, 3, 4, this is a really big one, 5, we're all above it. So even though that skew looks like we're now, it's skewed more to the put, then that average, it's not anywhere, close yet to where we've seen them, get as high as up here. So that's really quickly just to get a visual insights on how the skew looks like from a historical perspective. We could also measure the skew relative to the at-the-monies. So when we look at this skew, how high are the at-the-money implied volatility relative to historical? And how does the skew look like? Is the implied volatility low, implied volatility high relative to historical? So this, we could just plot the 30 at the money, 30 IV. And here we could see where this blue line is the at the money implied volatility versus the skew. And this just lets us see from a historical perspective, what they look like relative to each other and how far apart these are. And you could see here that right now we're kind of in the wider part of it, that even though the implied volatility maybe looks like, well, let's see, right here, it's on the 69th percentile. The skew itself so far hasn't reflected some kind of a huge demand to buy protection relative to the calls. So you ticked up a little bit, but there's no this looks like big sentiment to protect positions to the downside on that wing relative to the call. So Will, before moving on to this page, I'm going to have to stop here because we have more to cover on these tabs, which will go on. But okay, just one last thing, actually. Let's say we wanted to compare the skew of SPY to a different product, just to see, how they correlate to each other visually and where they are now. So we could type in the skew here, like say of QQQ. I'm going to click on that. And here, now we have the SPY skew in green. We have the the 20-day moving average, the skew in blue here. Okay, and then to compare it, and then you have that dotted line where it's the QQQ, I think, I'm sorry, the blue is the QQQ. Sorry, so the green is SPY, the blue is QQQ. So you could see how the skews move relative to each other. Okay, so that's the line where you want to compare, and this is comparing the 20-day moving average, this solid line, and the dotted line is comparing the daily. Okay, so the 20-day moving average just shows us if they're moving apart or close together, where you're looking at one skew in one type of asset versus another skew. In other words, well, if I'm looking at SPY skew, how expensive are the puts relative to the calls? And from a historical perspective, how expensive are the QQQ puts relative to the calls? Are they both going up, or is one staying stable while the other one's moving up? That's what this chart's trying to show, where we are. And you could see it widen out a little bit here, which is indicating that the SPY one is kind of the skew starting to move away a little bit faster than the QQQ is. Okay. And it may make sense just because maybe there's more trading in SPY, it could be moving a little bit earlier if it has more volume, more trading. And it could be the first one to get pushed potentially than other products. So Will, I'm going to stop right there.
Yeah, D, we have an appointment, so we got to get out of here. But we did have two questions. Maybe tomorrow you can get to them, both concerning SPY and opening gaps and how you may look at the skew or the straddle to analyze them. And one was from Michael and the other was from Cincy. So I'll send them over. Maybe we can continue this discussion on SPY with those two questions tomorrow. Thanks, buddy.
Yep. Thanks everyone for joining. Stay safe out there. Have a great trading day.